Hello and welcome to Critical Success. I'm Adam, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Unearthed Arcana for D&D 5th edition. So if you're not aware what Unearthed Arcana is, it's something that Wizards of the Coast releases monthly, and it's just a little bit of playtest content that they're looking for people to try out and give feedback on, usually for a release that they're working on for the future. So for example, a lot of the subclasses that appeared in Xanathar's Guide to Everything were released first as Unearthed Arcana, and then once they received the feedback from people who had playtested it, they were changed and tweaked to really fit what people had said about them. So it can be really cool to be able to try some of these things that aren't official releases yet, see what works and what doesn't work, and then get to see how they're changed when they are eventually released officially, and really be a part of that creation process with the feedback that you give. Not only that, but it can be pretty cool to get a bit of insight into what Wizards of the Coast is working on next. So you can kind of, if you look through the Unearthed Arcana, be able to start to guess at what they might be working on. So this month we have a new subclass for the Barbarian and for the Monk, and I've heard quite a lot about them, both good and bad, so I haven't had a chance to look at them at all yet, so we're going to read through them together right now, and I'll give some of my opinions on them. So here we go. To start off, we have a new Primal Path, which is the subclass that Barbarians get. So it is called the Path of the Wild Soul. And it reads, "The realm of the Feywild abounds with beauty, unpredictable emotion, and rampant magic. A barbarian exposed to this realm feels emotions powerfully, and magic saturates their body. When a barbarian who follows this path rages, it is a bellowing roar for freedom, an explosion of expression manifesting in unpredictable ways." So I really like that. They seem to be really leaning in to the whole idea of the Feywild and how it is just kind of overflowing with emotion and magic, and that's something that I like to really lean into in my games. Whenever my players visit the Feywild, I kind of personify everything, the plants to really feel emotion and be filled with this magic, and even the weather conditions to be based on the emotions that are being felt in the area. So so far I think this is really cool. So we get 4 different features, actually 6 different features. So the first feature we get is called Lingering Magic. At 3rd level, your body reacts to the presence of magic. You can cast Detect Magic without using a spell slot or components. Constitution is your spellcasting ability. You faintly glow a color corresponding to the school of magic you detect, and you can choose the colors. Okay, and you can use this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I don't think it's completely game breaking. I think that it is a nice thing to get at 3rd level. It will be pretty useful, especially for parties that don't have a wizard that has taken Detect Magic as one of their spells. Could come in handy. The next thing we get is called Wild Surge. It says, starting at 3rd level, magic erupts from you as you rage. When you enter your rage, roll on the Wild Surge table to determine the magical effect produced. If the Wild Surge requires a saving throw, the DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Constitution modifier. Okay, so now is where this starts to get really interesting, and this obviously is kind of reminiscent to the Wild Magic Sorcerer, where some random spell effect can happen, except this happens every time that you rage. So it is a D8 table. There are going to be 8 different effects. Let's read through them. The first is a Necrotic Energy burst from you. Each creature within 30 feet of you takes 1d10 necrotic damage, and you gain temporary hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt to the creatures. So that's really interesting. This is one that could be bad if you rage when you're close to a lot of your party members, because it doesn't say enemy creatures, it's just each creature within 30 feet of you. So you could end up doing some damage to your own teammates, but you do gain temporary hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt, and that could be a lot of temporary hit points if you are within 30 feet of 5 or 6 different creatures, and that's 5 or 6 d10 worth of temporary hit points that you gain. So this could be really good if you happen to roll a 1 on your d8 for your Wild Surge when you're in the middle of a whole bunch of enemies. And we'll see how the rest of these play out. If they all are things that would be helpful being in a group of enemies, then that could actually be really great. You know, if you're a barbarian, you just run into the middle of a group of enemies, use your rage, and, you know, depending on what you roll on your wild surge, any one of them could help you out a lot. So let's keep going. So if you roll a 2, the effect is you teleport up to 20 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. Until your rage ends, you can activate this effect again on each of your turns as a bonus action. Wow, that is really cool. So for the entirety of your rage, you now can essentially Misty Step as a bonus action. You only go 20 feet, but that's still really good, especially if you're going to be using, you know, extra attacks and things like that, where you can attack one creature. If you happen to take them out, then you can teleport to where the next creature is and then use your extra attack to take them out as well. I can see that being really fun, especially because it's not just one time that you use this. You get to do it every turn during your whole rage. That's really good. So a 3 reads, you conjure 1d4 intangible spirits that look like flumps in unoccupied spaces within 30 feet of you. Each spirit immediately flies 30 feet in a random direction. At the end of your turn, all spirits explode, and each creature within 5 feet of one or more of them must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d8 force damage. Okay, so this could be good or bad depending on the situation that you're in. I would assume that to decide which random direction these intangible spirits are going to fly in, you would just roll a d8 and use the 8 directions. And, you know, I mean, assuming that they all end up where enemies are, that could be great. If they all end up kind of crowding around your party members, that could be really bad, especially because they explode at the end of your turn. It doesn't really give you time to have any of your teammates react to this. So it could be really good, could be bad. It seems like something that could be a little bit tedious because you have to, if you get 4 of these intangible spirits, you have to roll for each one of them to see which direction they're going. Could take a little while to kind of work this out, but overall not bad. Now if you roll a 4, it says, Arcane Energy enshrouds you. Until your rage ends, you gain a +2 bonus to AC, and whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, that creature takes force damage equal to your Constitution modifier. Well, this one's great. Okay, +2 to AC is always good. I like that it's when a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, not just 5 feet, because this could be something that has long reach, and it's going to immediately take force damage equal to your Constitution modifier. No save. This isn't a reaction, so it's not just once per round. This is every time you get hit with an attack, you are dealing force damage equal to your Constitution modifier, and that could be really good. So a 5 is plant life temporarily grows around you. Until your rage ends, the ground within 10 feet of you is difficult terrain. That's pretty cool. So it's always the ground within 10 feet of you. I don't think this affects you personally. This just makes it harder for creatures to get to you, or if you run up to a creature, then it makes it harder for them to escape from you. Well, that's pretty cool. A 5 reads, Arcane Energy taps into the minds of those around you. Each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or you see a glimpse of the creature's thoughts, learning how it plans to attack you. As a result, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. So this is another one that affects all creatures within 30 feet of you, not just enemies, but this one won't really have a negative effect on your allies unless they plan to attack you for some reason, which I doubt is going to be happening very much. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and really good. It gives all creatures within 30 feet of you a disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. I like that. That one doesn't last the entirety of your rage like a lot of the other ones, but still pretty good. So a 7 reads, shadows weave around a weapon of your choice that you are holding. Until your rage ends, your weapon deals psychic damage instead of its bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage, and it gains the light and thrown properties with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If you drop the weapon or throw it, the weapon dissipates and reappears in your hand at the end of your turn. Oh, that's really cool. So this could be really good if you're fighting something that is, you know, immune to bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage, or just, you know, resistant to it. This will give you psychic damage. Or if you're fighting something that is weak to psychic damage, this would be a phenomenal feature if it were something that you can choose and not just something that you had a 1 out of 8 chance of getting. So let's see, 8, and our final one reads, a beam of brilliant light lances from your chest in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line. Okay, each creature in the line must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 2d8 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. Alright, that's pretty good, especially at the lower levels. You know, at 3rd level, getting this free 2d8 radiant damage on every creature in a straight line from you can be really good. Obviously, as you get into higher levels, that 2d8 damage isn't going to be incredible, but it still will be good. So overall, I like this class feature a lot. I think that it was going to come in handy. I think that it would be very, very good if you could choose one of these effects. The fact that you have to roll for the effect makes it a little bit less of a great utility sort of feature, because it's not like you can decide, you know, oh, I'm in this situation where, say for example, psychic damage would be great, I can use this effect. Or I'm in this situation where I'm in the middle of a group of enemies, I can use this effect where, you know, I'm going to deal necrotic damage to all of them. Unfortunately, you cannot pick and choose like that. You have to roll on this table, which makes it, you know, still a very good ability, but not incredible. So next, at 6th level, we get Magic Reserves, and this reads, you can channel the magic surging inside you into other creatures. Okay, as an action, you can touch a creature and roll a d4. The creature recovers an expended spell slot of a level equal to the number rolled. If the creature you touch can't recover a spell slot of that level, the creature instead gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number rolled. You take force damage equal to 5 times the number rolled. Okay, and when you reach 14th level, you can increase the die to a d6. Okay, so this is pretty good. It would be really good except for the part where you take force damage equal to 5 times the number rolled, but I think if it weren't for that, this could be a little bit broken. You know, especially if you're in a party with a lot of spellcasters, because this is not something that it looks like is limited to the number of times you can do per day. It seems like you can, yeah, it seems like you can do this as many times as you want. So if you were to use your Wild Surge and get this feature where you know, deal all this damage and then you get back temporary hit points, then you could go ahead and use your Magic Reserves to give your caster back a spell slot and just lose some of those temporary hit points. So this could be a really cool feature, and it works really well with some of those Wild Surges. So I like that. Let's see, next is Arcane Rebuke. At 10th level, the magic crackling within your soul lashes out. When a creature forces you to make a saving throw while you're raging, you can use a reaction to deal 3d6 force damage to that creature. Okay, that's pretty good. Obviously 3d6 damage isn't a ton of damage once, you know, by the time you're at 10th level, but still this is something that you can use on a reaction. It's anytime you're forced to make a saving throw. It doesn't just have to be against a spell, and not only that, but the creature that you're doing this to does not have to make a saving throw themselves. It's just an immediate 3d6 force damage. All you do is use your reaction. There's really no downside to this, and it's not limited to a number of times you can use it per day. So every single round, if you're making saving throws, you can use your reaction each round to deal 3d6 force damage. And force damage is great because there are very few things that resist force damage. I'm going to say this is very, very good. You know, I know I said 3d6 damage isn't a lot, but thinking about it now, that's something you can do for a reaction, something that you can do basically for free every single round of combat. This is going to be good. And then the last feature we get at 14th level is called Chaotic Fury. So at 14th level, you become a wellspring of wild magic while you are raging. As a bonus action, you can re-roll on the Wild Surge table, replacing your current effect with a new one. Oh, that's really cool. So again, this is something you can use every single round. on your turn. As your bonus action, you can reroll. So this makes the randomness a little bit better. Now, if you get something you don't want, or if you're specifically looking for something, you can roll again. If you're in the middle of that group of enemies and you don't roll this one to get that necrotic damage, you can, try again on your next turn. So I really like that. That's a cool feature. Overall, I am actually a big fan of this Barbarian, the Path of the Wild Soul. Definitely something that I'm going to be trying out. I can see ways that I think it's going to be changed in the future. I think maybe this damage from Arcane Rebuke might be made a little bit less, or something might be due to nerf this a little bit. Chaotic Fury I really like. Magic Reserves I really like. Overall, I think it's pretty cool, and I think all of the class features actually really kind of fit with the theme that they're going with very well. The Feywild being a unpredictable kind of place filled with magic and emotion. A lot of these things seem to be that sort of kind of unpredictable, feel to them. So I really like this. Next, we have a new Monastic Tradition, which is the subclass for the monk. So again, Monastic Tradition you gain at 3rd level, and the new one is called the Way of the Astral Self. This reads, monks of the Way of the Astral Self have an internal struggle with their ki. They see their mystical energy as a representation of their true form in Astral Self. This form has the capacity to be a force of good or destruction, with some monasteries training students to either temper their nature or embrace their impulses. Okay, that's really interesting. So this is a monk that is kind of tied to the astral plane, it seems, or rather they have, a connection with their inner astral self. So let's see, it says forms of your astral self. The astral self is a translucent embodiment of the monk's psyche and soul. As a result, the form of an astral self reflects the mind of the monk who manifests it. Your astral self could be a humanoid knight with a helmeted face and large muscular arms, or it could be a golden metallic form with thin arms like a modron. When choosing this path, consider the quirks that define your monk. Are they obsessed with something? Are you driven by justice or a selfish desire? Any of these motivations could manifest in the form of your astral self. Oh, that's really cool. So that's just like kind of a bit of flavor. So let's see, we get 4 features here. First one starts at 3rd level and is called Arms of the Astral Self. So at 3rd level, your mastery of your ki allows you to summon a portion of your astral self. On your turn, you can spend 2 ki points as a bonus action to summon the arms of your astral self for 10 minutes. The spectral arms hover near your shoulders. You determine the arm's appearance based on the qualities of your character. That's really cool. When your astral arms are summoned, you gain the following benefits. You can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength modifier when making strength checks and strength saving throws. The arms are monk weapons that have a reach of 10 feet. The arms deal radiant or necrotic damage. When you attack with the arms, you can use your wisdom modifier instead of your strength or dexterity modifier for the attack and damage rolls. And immediately after you use the attack action with your astral arms on your turn, you can make 1 extra attack with your astral arms as a bonus action. The number of extra attacks increases when you reach certain levels in this class, including 2 at 11th and 3 at 17th. So monks already get 3 attacks. Hold on, let me check something out. So by 17th level, you can deal 3 attacks as a bonus action every turn, plus the 3 attacks that you get normally as a monk. That means if you're using your astral self and it costs only, 2 ki points to summon them for 10 minutes. So you spend 2 ki points, you get these astral arms. They have a reach of 10 feet, and by 17th level, you can attack 6 times with them on your turn. That is really good. That is super good. Oh my god. So I would say a monk that plans to go the way of the Astral Self is really going to lean into Wisdom, because they can use it in place of Strength, and when they're attacking with these Astral Arms, they can use it in place of Dexterity as well. Alright, that's a phenomenal start. Let's see what we get next. Next is Visage of the Astral Self. Starting at 6th level, you can summon the Visage of your Astral Self. On your turn, you can spend 1 key point as a bonus action, or as part of summoning your Astral Arms, to summon this Visage for 10 minutes. So you could just use this all at once, summon your Astral Arms and your Astral Self, and altogether that would spend 3 key points. The Spectral Visage covers your face like a helmet or mask. You determine its appearance based on the qualities of your character, and you gain the following benefits. Wisdom of the Spirit, you have advantage on Wisdom or Insight and Intimidation checks. And Astral Sight, you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. That's a great feature for only 1 key point, being able to get full vision in darkness, not even just the black and white dark vision, up to 120 feet. You know, great especially for humans that don't get dark vision, but really for anything, because you're not just getting that black and white vision. And it's 120 feet, which is phenomenal. So next we have Awakening the Astral Self. Starting at 11th level, you tap into the greater power of your Astral Self. While you have both your Astral Arms and Visage summoned, you gain the following benefits. Deflect Energy. When you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or force damage, you can use your reaction to deflect it. When you do so, the damage you take is reduced by 1d10 plus your Wisdom modifier plus your Monk level. That's really good. Empowered Arms. On each of your turns, when you hit a target with your Astral Arms, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die. Is that for every attack? So will you be able to deal double die of damage for 6 attacks on each turn by the time you're level 17? This is ridiculous. Word of the Spirit. When you speak through your Visage, you can direct your words to a creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you, making it so only that creature can hear you. Alternatively, you can amplify your voice so that all creatures within 600 feet can hear you. Now, that's pretty cool, especially to be able to talk to just, one teammate on the battlefield, or to be able to just kind of like personally call out an enemy and really try to intimidate them. So next we have Complete Astral Self. Starting at 17th level, your connection to your Astral Self is complete, allowing you to summon it entirely. On your turn, you can spend 10 key points as a bonus action to summon the arms, visage, and body of your Astral Self for 10 minutes. The spectral body covers your physical form like a suit of armor, connecting you with the arms and visage. You determine its appearance based on the quality of your character. When your Astral Self is summoned, you gain the following benefits. Armor of the Spirit, you gain a +2 bonus to AC while you aren't incapacitated. Astral Barrage, when you use the extra attack feature twice, you can instead attack 3 times using your Astral Arms. So that would give you 7 attacks in 1 turn. And Key Consumption. When a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to regain key points equal to your Wisdom modifier. Oh my god. So by 17th level, you use your Complete Astral Self. You use 10 key points. You'll still have 7 key points remaining. You get the AC bonus. You get 7 attacks. You get your double die on all of those damage with your Empowered Arms. And whenever a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, that's within 10 feet, not 5 feet, you use your reaction to regain key points equal to your Wisdom modifier. How long does this last? 10 minutes. So within those 10 minutes, you can easily get all of those 10 key points that you spent back. This is essentially an unlimited ability, because if every time you're reducing a creature to 0 hit points, you're getting your Wisdom modifier worth of key points back. And with this Monastic Tradition, you'll definitely be leaning into Wisdom and having probably a +5 in your Wisdom modifier, and you can get that back. That means in 10 minutes, you just have to have 2 creatures be reduced to 0 hit points. You don't even have to do this yourself. This is something that can happen if your teammate reduces a creature to 0 hit points that is within 10 feet of you. This is broken. This is so good. Oh my god. I am going to be trying out a Way of the Astral Self monk. This seems absolutely ridiculous. Even just the first feature on its own seemed pretty ridiculous. I think this is really cool. I definitely think that some of this is going to end up being toned down a little bit. Maybe not. I mean, 17th level is a very high level, but still to have 7 attacks and to be able to deal double dice on all of those attacks. And by 17th level, what is your martial arts die? I think it's like a D10. So to be able to do 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier 7 times, that's, oh my god, that's 14d10, plus if your wisdom modifier is a +5, that gives you an extra 35 damage. That's ridiculous. It's 14d10 plus 35 damage that you can deal every single round at 17th level as a way of the Astral Self monk. This seems totally ridiculous, and I love it. Let me just put that into perspective. I run a 17th level D&D game right now, and the only character in our party that is dealing even close to that much damage is a champion fighter who is an archer with sharpshooter that is using 3 attacks per turn, using sharpshooter on all of those attacks. You know, occasionally getting their action surge, and they crit on an 18 or a 19 or a 20. So this, I think, would deal damage in excess of that. This seems really, really good, and I'll definitely be trying one out. So looking at both of these, let's just take a second to do a little bit of thinking here about what Wizards of the Coast might be working on. So we have the Primal Path Barbarian, which is based on the Feywild, and we have the Way of the Astral Self monk, which is based on the astral plane. This to me says that we're going to be getting some type of setting or some type of adventure that is interplanar, which would be really cool. This points to maybe getting something like Planescape in the future, which I would absolutely love. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts on these classes are. Do you think they're good? Do you think that they're not good enough? Do you think that they're too good? And also, what do you think this says for the future of 5th edition? What is coming next? Do you think that we're going to be getting Planescape? Because I sure do, and I hope so. I think that would be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to try both of these out, and I cannot wait to see how much they change by the time they're actually released. So let me know in the comments what you think, and of course, as always, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends in the role-playing game community. Thank you so much for watching. Now go play.